Though scientists have only explored 5% of the world's oceans, they've already discovered, according to the World Register of Marine Species, nearly 230,000 various nautical creatures, with still new ones identified every year. And while some of these animals, like dolphins and whales, have given us everything from Hollywood blockbusters to IRL medical advances, other ocean dwellers have brought us nothing more than fear and fatalities. And no, we're not talking about sharks. So here they're the most 10 dangerous sea animals you should know before you go to the sea. Number 1. Electric eel. Though rare, people have been known to die after being shocked by an electric eel. A single jolt could cause a person to drown even in shallow water, and multiple shocks could lead to respiratory or heart failure. Electric eels can release up to 860 volts of electricity, and a 40-watt DC light bulb needs only around 120. Electrogenic animals' organs are filled with cells called electrocytes that are positively charged on the outside and negatively charged on the inside. When the animal's brains send signals to their organs, one side of those electrocytes switches to negatively charged on the outside and positively charged on the inside, creating an electric shock. Electric eels use a clever strategy to handle large or challenging prey point before they curl around it, holding the prey near their tails, which are essentially two electric poles. At a minimum, this strategy doubles the electricity and thus the amount of shock the prey receives. This behavior is particularly effective because it allows the eels the chance to immobilize and reposition prey so that it can be easily consumed. Number 2. Flower urchin. Don't let this sea urchin's beauty fool you. Each of its flowers is actually a tentacle with a little jaw that can inject toxic venoms and potentially kill you. The flower urchin is one of the most frequently encountered sea urchins. It is also said that they hold the title of the world's most venomous sea urchins, according to the 2014 Guinness Book of World Records. Their sting is painful, toxic, potent and poisonous. Unlike most other venomous sea urchins, flower urchins and related toxonostids do not deliver their venom through spines. Instead, the venom is administered through the flower-like globiferous pedicellariae. If undisturbed, the tips of the globiferous pedicellariae are usually expanded into round cup-like shapes. They possess tiny sensors on their inside surfaces, which can detect threats by touch and chemical stimuli. When agitated or brushed against by a potential threat, the pedicellariae will immediately snap shut and inject venom. The claws of the pedicellariae may also break off from their stalks and adhere to the point of contact, retaining the ability to continually inject venom for several hours. Number 3. Crown-of-thorns Starfish. Known as the world's second largest starfish, the crown-of-thorns starfish is a unique and beautiful marine invertebrate. It usually measures between 25 to 35 centimeters, although specimens can grow up to 80 centimeters. These creatures are brightly colored and inhabit coral reefs in the warm waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans, spanning the Red Sea and coastal East Africa to the west coast of Central America. The spines are brittle and can easily pierce through a wetsuit, causing a nasty puncture wound laced with venom, which will require surgical removal. A snorkeler or scuba diver who dares handle this most dangerous starfish can suffer from nausea, infection, and painful, swollen extremities that can last for more than a week. Some divers kill these predators by injecting the cod's own stomach acid into each of their many arms. If you happen to come across one of these creatures during a dive, remember to admire them from a safe distance, but avoid touching them to avoid the dreaded starfish sting. Number 4. Dubois Sea Snake. Most people are only likely to encounter a yellow-bellied sea snake if a sick or injured animal drifts ashore. Although these specimens are usually in poor condition, they still pose a risk if they are picked up or wash against a person in the surf. If roughly handled, this species is likely to bite. The fangs are quite short, about 1.5 millimeters, and only a small dose of venom is usually injected. However, this venom is highly toxic and contains potent neurotoxins and mycotoxins. Symptoms of envenomation include muscle pain and stiffness, drooping eyelids, drowsiness and vomiting, and a serious bite can lead to total paralysis and death. Anyone suspected of being bitten by a Dubois sea snake should seek medical attention immediately, even if the bite appears trivial. This species has caused fatalities overseas, however none have been recorded in Australia. Number 5. Flamboyant Cuttlefish. This colorful creature has been compared to the blue-ringed octopus, as in, its poisonous flesh can kill any predator that dares to feast on it. And like the blue-ringed octopus, marine biologists believe that this toxic tank dweller uses its vibrant colors to warn potential predators to stay away. Don't try to cuddle with this cuttlefish. Though charming and colorful, this aptly named fish's displays serve as a warning. Like octopuses and some squid, this cuttlefish is venomous, with its muscles containing a highly toxic compound. It's the only cuttlefish variety known to be toxic. Although cuttlefish rarely encounter humans, their poison is considered extremely dangerous and can be as lethal as the poison of the blue-ringed octopus. Cuttlefish store their venom away in a razor-sharp beak hidden under those tentacles. Number 6. Sea slugs. The grey-side grilled sea slug is pale grey with a dense dark brown mottling. It has no shell. The fully grown slug is about 10 centimeters long and has a feathery gill partly hidden on the right side of the body. Sea slugs are small, slow-moving ocean creatures known for their bright colors and intricate patterns. They can measure 1/8 of an inch long to 12 inches. Oftentimes, they have horns on their body and scent receptors called rhinophores on their head. The skin of a sea slug contains a poison that can be passed along to a human through a sting. Researchers at the University of Queensland recently found that various colorful sea slugs have the ability to slurp up and store deadly chemicals from the creatures they eat for later use. One type of sea slug in particular, the grey-side grilled sea slug, has been linked to canine deaths, and beach dwellers are encouraged to keep their children and pets at an arm's length to avoid accidental ingestion. Number 7. Fire coral. There are two things that you should know about fire corals. Firstly, they aren't actually corals, they are members of the hydrozoa class, which is closely related to the jellyfish. And secondly, that these creatures can inflict a serious sting that causes burning and a raised rash. If people avoid physically touching fire coral, the dangers are rather non-existent. However, if surfing in an area lined with fire coral and you wipe out or accidentally scrape fire coral during swimming or snorkeling, you can end up with some painful scratches and a burning, itching rash. The burning sensation may last several hours and is often associated with a skin rash that appears minutes to hours after contact. This skin rash can take several days to resolve. Often, the skin reaction will subside in a day or two, but it may likely reappear several days or weeks after the initial rash disappeared. Number 8. Stargazer. Stargazer fish are a little challenging to catch because of their stinger with venom effects and their ability to shock anglers who aren't careful. Although these fish are more likely to be captured for aquarium exhibitions than for food, the fish offer an exciting challenge when an angler gets a bite. Stargazer fish live in the Atlantic off the United States coast from North Carolina to New Jersey and in the Mediterranean. Pacific Ocean populations live off Australia's southern coast. Some aquarium locations may also have these fish among their exhibits. Stargazer fish are a venomous species, with sharp spines injecting a similar amount of venom as a bite. The venom effects from these fish are unlikely to kill a person. However, the stings are as painful as bites, resulting in swelling. In rare cases, these stings can cause shock. Number 9. Titan Triggerfish. Titan triggerfish are mainly seen in the Indo-Pacific region. They prefer to live in seaward reefs, lagoons, and inner reef slopes. Young ones of Titan triggerfish species are often seen in the rubble of shallow protected areas. They may live up to 8 years in the wild and around 20 years in captivity. It may differ according to food habits and surroundings. Titan triggerfish are dangerous as they have powerful teeth that can cause serious injury and can be harmful to intruders and divers. Sometimes natural poison called ciguatoxin is secreted, which is not harmful to other fishes, but is harmful to human beings. Number 10. Portuguese Man-of-War. Man-of-wars are found, sometimes in groups of 1,000 or more, floating in warm waters throughout the world's oceans. They have no independent means of propulsion and either drift on the currents or catch the wind with their pneumatophores. To avoid threats on the surface, they can deflate their airbags and briefly submerge. They are not famous for killing humans, but it is famous for harming them. Their sting is rarely dangerous, but it is certainly not a fun experience. The tentacles of this oceanic creature have a purpose of delivering venom in order to kill or paralyze fish. In humans, it can cause angry welts to appear on the skin.